Okay, so today I want to talk about a sort of a serious topic, which has been on my mind a lot lately, which is loneliness and sort of that part of living abroad. Because, I live in Paris, France. I've lived here for going on 8 years now, which is crazy to believe that it's been that long. And I love to talk about the good sides of it. I have lots of videos planned even for the future about good things and good attributes. But there's a lonely part too, because it's hard to find community here. I moved here in 2018 and it has not been super easy to make friends or to feel like I sort of fit in, to the expat scene. I've gone to so I'll tell you some of the things I've done to try and make friends or to try and find a community. It's not been perfect, but I've gone to events for, my schools that I've attended, for university stuff. I've gone to black girl meetups in Paris. I've gone to single women, not single, but women, under whatever age, women who like to hang out. There's so many different Facebook groups or groups of people. And so I've gone to events, but making friends is a little tricky because it's kind of like dating, it's you want to feel a click or a connection, and sometimes that doesn't happen. And when it doesn't happen, honestly, not even for me, sometimes it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened. Not really. And then it can feel a little disappointing, and as I said, I moved here in 2018. I initially wasn't really putting an effort into making friends and stuff like that, but I did start having weird health issues when I first moved to Paris. So that definitely interfered with my desire to put myself out there and make friends. I was just sort of trying to get better. It's also why there was a big hiatus in videos. But then, of course, 2020 happened and all the stuff that followed. And, it was hard to, meet people, to connect with new people. But even since then, it's just, I just think a lot of times we glamorize what it is to live in another country. And particularly if you're in another country where there's a different language. I think especially when there's a different language and there's a totally different culture, there's a little bit of a barrier. And since living here, I do speak French now. My French is not perfect, but it's perfect enough that I can have a French friend, But, so, okay, here's a funny thing that I used to teach English to people online, to adults, and all my students were French. And one French person said to me, some saying that they had heard, where it was French people are like coconuts and Americans are like peaches. And that meant that French people are like coconuts. They're hard on the outside. They have a really tough exterior, but once you get through, they're really soft and sweet and nice afterwards. Whereas Americans are like peaches. We seem really sweet and nice on the outside, but then there's a tough inside nut to crack. The idea being that French people come off kind of cold, but they're really nice when you get to know them. Americans can come off really nice, but then maybe we're cold, we're, it's kind of like an LA thing. It's how I think of it. Whereas in LA, people will say oh yeah, definitely. Let's hang out. Let's do this. And then you never hear from them again, because they gave you that peachy softness on the outside, but on the inside, there's a tougher nut to crack. I think a lot of that is true. I've heard that another thing that I heard about French people in particular is that a lot of them have the same friend groups from when they're kids into their adulthood. So my understanding is that a lot of Parisians, French people, maybe just in general, they have really close-knit relationships and really tight-knit circles that have been important for them for decades. And so to get in with some French friends is not always the easiest thing to do. So here I am, living in Paris, and I'm on my own this holiday season. It's been so kind of boring. I've been posting videos and reaching out to so many people about doing interviews and doing different things because I'm kind of low-key lonely. I do have family and things in America. I injured my back and wasn't able to travel to the US this holiday season, which was kind of unexpected. And so that's why things happened such that I wound up being on my own in Paris this holiday season. But I've been on my own here now for a long time. But even before just this holiday season, I've been feeling this longing for a community, and longing for connection. And I feel like I really want to find a place that feels like home. I'm not sure Paris feels like home exactly. I really miss when I was in Chiang Mai, Thailand a lot. I felt like this huge sense of community there. I'm not sure if it still exists. Like a lot of the people that I knew in Thailand have scattered around the globe now. That's the thing with digital nomads and people who work online. You can work anywhere, you do work anywhere. Some people are in Mexico. People aren't even in the same city. The point is that I don't know where to go. I had this idea that I want this sort of community, and my mind thinks back to Chiang Mai because I think it was the last time I felt a really strong sense of community. There was also good vibes in India when I was traveling. I really loved all the people I met there, the people I connected with, both the Indians that I met and the foreigners that I met were cool. It's like in Paris, I don't want to sound judgmental. I hope you don't take it that way. But like in Paris, I feel like a lot of the expats that are drawn to Paris, they're here because like they love fashion or they're into the art scene, and it's like a certain type of person that is kind of drawn to Paris, and like that's not me. I'm really not into fashion. I like this sweater, it's okay. But like those things aren't important to me. I'm not even really into the art scene. And not when I say not even really, I mean like not at all. I'm just not really that interested, in any of that stuff. And so, or a lot of people, they come here, I don't know, just the mentality of a lot of the expats that come here, I don't know, they almost feel very American in a way, like they're kind of obsessed with their jobs. And I feel like that's something I do really like about French people, is that kind of when I've met French people, they seem less obsessed in a way. Like it's not their whole identity. I feel like when I was living in the US, I don't know, my job was really my whole identity, and that's sort of how I assessed other people. And I don't think it's that way here. And it certainly wasn't that way when I was traveling. And I really liked that. But I guess, I don't know what this video is even about anymore. But it's just that I'm trying to find a community. And I think community and connection is really important. And I've, seen stuff about how there's a loneliness epidemic and how, people are more disconnected and people aren't engaging as much in real life. And I'm looking for an antidote to that. And I'm hoping that by being honest about it, even for myself, by talking about it, like maybe we can find solutions for it. I do think there are cool people in Paris. I just don't know where they are. I haven't met my people. I feel like my people are sort of like laid back, chill. I mean, my people also don't have to be like, and when I say my people, sometimes people, when I say I'm looking for a community, people think I immediately just mean Black people. I'm cool. For me, it's a vibe. Like, I don't care what a person's race is or where they're from. Like, I just want to like somebody. I want to be around positive people with good vibes. And so that's what I'm looking for. So it's not about anything else, just people who, I don't know, I guess I do sort of have like, if they're sort of interested in some sort of spirituality, that's nice, that they're a good person, sincerely, or like trying to improve themselves in some way, not like just completely self-absorbed or something. But I don't know. Anyway, I feel like now I'm just having a therapy session. But anyway, I think community is important, and I'm looking for that. And I think it's something that can be hard to find when you move overseas. And I don't want to downplay that. And, I have videos coming up that are about, cool things in Paris, because there are lots of cool things in Paris, but it's also a reality, and it's also true that sometimes it's hard to live overseas. Sometimes it's hard to find your place. It's hard for me to find my place and my community here. But you know what? I'm looking, and I think I could put more effort into looking. And so maybe this is a step in the right direction. I don't know. That's it for now.